Today we'll be talking about environment, because environment plays a huge role in our success. So we'll have a look at some case studies of some examples of when people partake in addictive behaviour and how the environment has impacted that. We'll also have a look at stress. So I'll ask you to review different areas of your life and have a look to see whether there's something that you can change or perhaps manage your stress more effectively so that you're not inclined to go back to behaviours that are unhealthy for you. I'll also get you to have a look at your support network and see if there's some areas in which you can improve that, because support is one of the things that's really going to make a difference as to whether you keep on track with your healthy behaviour. So some case studies around addictive behaviour. You might have heard that in the Vietnam War, 40% of American soldiers were addicted to heroin. Now, they did tests when they returned back on American soil, and almost overnight, 95% of those that had been addicted were no longer addicted. Now, why was that? You know, we hear that these types of drugs are so addictive that people will practically steal from people in order to get the money that they need for a fix. Well, the thing is that they were going out of a really uncomfortable, painful situation, obviously being in war, going back to their families. So they had a huge reason to stay clean. Their environment was completely different. So they were going from a painful situation to a pleasurable. So this shows us that if we remain or take our brain to a pleasurable place about what the change is, that we can stay off those addictive behaviours. Another example of addictive behaviour is a widely publicised study called Rat Park, where they fed rats cocaine in their water. And what they discovered was that when rats were in a very social environment and a stimulating environment, that they weren't interested in the water that was laced with cocaine. They only took the pure water. But when they placed rats in an environment where they were on their own, or it wasn't a stimulating environment for them, they did go for the water that was laced in cocaine, and they continued to use it. So what this study showed us is that when we have a social network and we are in a pleasurable environment that's stimulating for us, we're not interested in addictive behaviours. But when we're in a situation that's stressful, perhaps we don't have a good support network, or we're not in a pleasurable place, we're in quite a painful place, then we're more likely to partake in addictive behaviours. So you might know this for yourself, that you perhaps are more likely to smoke or drink or go for other things such as just sitting in front of the television for hours on end to avoid an uncomfortable situation. So it's really the opportunity to have a look at your life now. Are you in a place that is stimulating, that's enjoyable? What areas of your life might you need to change? Is there ways to improve relationships, or perhaps your job is just no longer the right job for you? It might have been 5 years ago, but perhaps now you've outgrown it. What about your love life? Do you have the type of relationship that you really want? So knowing that all of that stuff in your life plays a part in how you feel and whether you partake in addictive behaviours, I just ask you to spend a bit of time looking at your life and analysing whether you are really happy in all areas right now, and whether there's some changes that you might need to consider. Maybe not now, but perhaps a little bit down the future. Because our bodies were not meant to go under prolonged areas or times of stress. We're really only supposed to have stress for a few minutes. when we're either running for our life because something's chasing us that wants us for lunch, or we're chasing something else in the hope it's going to be our lunch. So that type of situation, in the very long time ago, in caveman days if you like, that's what our body was designed to do. That fight, flight and freeze mechanism that's going on in our brain was really designed for our survival. But now we're under prolonged times of stress where we have relationship breakdowns, or we're completely moving countries, or moving homes, we're buying homes, or perhaps we're going through restructures and potential redundancies at work. And those types of things can sometimes go on for ages. So it's about managing our stress more effectively. Are there things in our life that we can change? Or what strategies can we have in place to manage our stress? Just take some deep breaths and take that opportunity to get your neocortex working, to get into a more reflective place, into a more creative place, to help you in times when you're running in that fight, flight and freeze survival mode, and it's really now time to move into a place of more calm where you can make better decisions for yourself. And one of the things I use to help me is meditation. I have an audio that I recorded that's just under 15 minutes that goes through the process of how to meditate. Just relaxing your body by tensing all your muscles, and then with your eyes closed, taking some deep breaths. Now, if that is something that interests you, then please let me know and I'll be happy to forward you that audio that you can download. But it doesn't have to take 15 minutes. Once you do this for yourself, it can take just a few minutes to get into a more productive place for your brain. Support. The right support is crucial for your success. Who's going to keep you on track and ensure that you don't light up when you're feeling stressed, that you don't partake in addictive behaviours to avoid uncomfortable situations, that you continue to practice a more appropriate, healthy alternative to keep you on track? So please write a list of all the people that you can call on for help, and also whether there's some gaps there. Maybe your friends just aren't the best person sometimes. Maybe they are sick of hearing about something and they just tell you to get on with it, or whatever it is that's really unhelpful. And perhaps there's a professional service that you might need to call on for help. Maybe it's time to get a counsellor or a coach that is really going to help you move out of those places that are causing uncomfortable and unhealthy behaviours. Let us know what's been your greatest learning today. What have you built awareness of that you now got more clarity in your life? I look forward to hearing your comments. Have a great day and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye.